Alright guys, it's a Saturday after Thanksgiving. Hope you guys all had a good one. And blasted off the K10 yesterday. Get all the dirt off, that way she looks better on the back of the hauler. So anyways, I just put the kid down for a nap, so it's load up time. I got a trail run tonight. So it's going to be pretty cool. So I got out here, and last time I went, I didn't even check the air pressure in the tires because it was a close run. But this run is like, I think it's like 80 miles there, 80 miles back. So front tires they need to be replaced. I mean, they're still okay, but they're not looking so hot. So that's next on the hauler list. It's tires, and then get new rotors for the rear. I'll give you a quick little walk around. She's still pretty ugly. We got to fix her up, but figured I'd walk you around. But I ended up setting all the air pressure in the tires in these back ones. This one I just mounted. Shit, I didn't even think I had 30 pounds in it. So I set the back ones to 70. Since 80 is max, so I figured 70 is fine. And then the fronts, I set them to 55. Alright guys, this is how she sits. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about my strap situation. But anyhow, so that's probably about as close as I want to go, because in an emergency situation, I believe that we might get a little flexy or something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want that, so it is what it is. And this stupid power steering fluid had a loose fitting, but anyway, so I think that's as close as I want to go, and then I'll show you where my tie down locations are at. You can see where it sits on the board. I'll probably should come over about another inch or so on this side. You can see where it sits on this side. So I mean, it's still, we're still on the planks and everything, so it's not too bad. And then you can see this tire. I mean, it sits. You can see how it's like partially on the plank, partially not. So like I said, you know, when I originally planned this, you know, the frickin' bottom of the wheel was going to sit here, and like I said, I could probably bring it forward another inch or so, but that's where my comfort level's at. So I'm gonna get it strapped down, and then I will talk to you about the strapping situation. Alright guys, here's my current setup until I figure out something else. And so basically I'm strapping it down to the hitch because it seems like it's the best way in case I have like an emergency situation that it'll hold it. The only problem is it's touching right here. There's a piece of angle iron that I made. So I got this glove here so it won't chafe there and it won't chafe down here. So hopefully that'll do okay on this trip. In future trips, what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to like weld like a D-ring or weld something here. There is a strip of plate here. If there was a bigger hole, I could probably just strap it here. So I might just do like a D-ring somewhere up here. It's pretty, like this metal is pretty thick. So if I get one of those D-rings where I can run like a couple bolts through it and then weld around it, I think that would be more than enough, because you can see how it's doubled up there. Yeah, so you see here I have all of this extra and I got to tie it up, and so I've been thinking about just like cutting it and burning the ends, because this is like way too much and I'm never really going to use these any other way. I may just cut them all down and leave like one long, but I want to actually go up and just get a couple other straps, because I chafed one just a tiny bit. I mean, it ain't enough to damage the strap, but anyway, so the main thing is just make sure it's not going to come forward, and it feels pretty tight, and I want to go, you know, hold it down, but I don't want to like pull it too hard. So I'll probably drive down to the gas station where we're meeting, and then I'll just check everything, because these are the main ones. I want to make sure it doesn't go forward, but I think if I put something out here right behind right here, be good to go. So anyways, I think I'm gonna take care of these straps right now. I figured I'd show you. This is on the front, this is what I got. So there's a nice hook right here. I'm gonna put my piece of metal up there. It'll cover this all up, maybe get a little toolbox or something. But anyways, there's a nice cutout here. It's perfect for a hook. And then I just run it through and put it through here, and then right here where this is still a little, and I don't know what I'm gonna do here. If I'm gonna, I don't know, I might I don't know, put some kind of nice cut, or put some kind of that, like what do they call that edge, that stuff that goes over the metal edge. It's like metal, but then there's like a rubber or plastic outer. I might do something like that, but this good. It ain't going nowhere. I just go right over the tie rod, since it doesn't really pull down on the tie rod. So, and you can see how the truck's sitting. It squats it, but I mean it doesn't. Once I get forward, it drops the nose down a little bit, and I'll show you here. So it's sitting. It's definitely sitting on the overloads, but you see I have this amount of space here, and it never actually goes up that high. The tires never rubbed or anything, so I ain't worried about it. You can see the suspension there. So when the truck's not on here, this is like 2 inches just from that like overload perch or whatever. So yeah, and you can see how many leaves I got in here in this cabin chassis model. If I get to the gas station early enough today, I may weigh it. So anyways, but you can see how the tires look. They look a lot better today. This one over here wasn't looking so good last time, and kind of dumb driving like that, but oh yeah, it looks a lot better today. Alright, I'll get going here, strap my ramps down. I'll get my ramps pushed up as far forward as I can as well. Another thing I want to talk about is my ramps. So what I ended up doing to them is I had some 1/8 inch angle. It was like, I think it was like 2 inch by 2 inch, 1/8 inch. And what I did is I just welded it even to where the board sits. And so I welded one here, one there, one up front, one to the other. So I got 4 of those, the same screws I used for the wood decking, holding the boards down. And so now I don't have to have them strapped on or anything. Once I set them on the bed, they just slide right forward, and no issues. So I like it. They move a little bit. Like if I was going on like a super long trip, what I would end up doing is I would take these and just flip them over so it's wood on wood, so it wouldn't slide. But I got 3 straps over them, so I'd only really be worried about them going forward. They ain't gonna go sideways, you know what I mean? How far are they gonna go? But anyways, yeah. So this is her. I mean, I got a little bit of overhang, but it really, I don't know, it doesn't seem too bad, so hopefully I don't get pulled over or something. We'll see. I'm sure if I got a problem, the cop's gonna pass me tonight, so we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna try to hit the Catskills too. Where we're meeting is at a truck stop, so if I have enough time, I might swing over to the Catskills. So, but that's it until I roll. So I can turn.
driver tire to climb that. A little bit of driver for me. Yep. That looks good right there. You all locked up and everything's ready to go? Alright. Now passenger. Passenger hard.
Yes, all the whole thing.
Yep, so now your front's going to start to climb. Three passenger for me.
Use that front locker.
It's a pocket. Back you out. Straighten up. Passenger. There we go. Oh, you got to lower. Stay straight. Passenger. Passenger.
There it is.
Line that up. Straight now. Alright. Come up. Alright, stop there. Let me make sure you're on the line. Hey, good driving, dude.
Alright, thank you.
Freaking
Good spotting.
Good driving.
Thanks, Vince.
Thanks for showing me the way, man.
Yeah.
They're lined up.
Alright, man. So as you fall forward, you're going to kind of need to get a feel for the pocket. Okay. And then have a feeling where you're going to come in until your belly touches. And we'll go hard passenger and get that rear tire kind of first. Okay. Is that what you see, Vince?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What?
He doesn't need to listen. It's all right.
Good. Yeah,
Alright.
that's good.
All right, straight forward until your tire starts to climb this.
Yep.
And then as it's climbing,
It's on the line.
there you go.
Do I need to bump it?
That's it. No, keep climbing. Turn passenger. Hard passenger. Hard passenger.
Damn it. Lost it.
So drive. Hold on. Hold on. Give me. Passenger. Passenger. Passenger hard. And then come driver, and then I'll tell you when to turn passenger hard driver. Now passenger hard. Hey, there's, hold on a second, I'll get you over. For me. Yeah, get over.
Passenger, passenger. Driver, a little bit. Right there. Passenger, passenger boy, passenger.
Not big.
Nah, I get
That's
it.
a fucking photo if there ever was one.
Yeah, baby.
We're styling now, brother.
Keep it coming.
That was fucking fast. Yeah.
It's time to change the oil.
That looks solid.
Alright, Vince, I need a flashlight.
Hell yeah.
Nice and easy climb. It'll pull it, stay hard driver, it'll pull it around and lift your rear. There you go, now it'll bite.
Alright guys, what's going on? Sorry it's a little breezy, so some of that might get in the camera. So this has been the second trip in the hauler, and it was another successful one. And I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts on it. How bad that frickin' transmission leaks right there. Stupid thing. Anyways, help my board out. Overall, the way the truck drives and the way the truck handles is awesome. I don't really feel that top heavy. You know, I don't take corners fast or anything, but it doesn't really feel like it's top heavy. I didn't get to weigh it last night, so I'll try to weigh it on my next trip. And yeah, so the 6 liter is running strong, and I don't really drive past 65 just because you know, if I had to make an emergency stop or something like that, I think 65 is probably about the max speed I'd want to be going if I had to make an emergency stop. So I always use 4 straps. So we talked about the straps earlier in this video, and so what I'll do is the earlier stuff, we'll do our talking about that, and then I'll like filter in some wheeling videos, and then we'll end up here. Yeah, so anyhow, seems to work out good. These gloves keep my stuff from chafing. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do here as far as like cutting it out, or I don't know what I'm going to do. Or perhaps put like a D-ring or something here. I don't know, but I don't think it's long enough if I put a D-ring there. But I am going to, and what I've decided to do is I'm going to run, I'm going to put some D-rings here like I talked about. But I think what I'm going to do is get some axle straps. Just get 4 of them. One reason is to keep this stuff from like chafing on things. Another reason is, and on my first trip I really tightened the crap out of the straps and it seemed to be good, and then yesterday, I mean, I tightened them but I didn't go like super tight. And so what I noticed is when I was loading up to go home, I checked everything was good, and then this strap here, I think what happened is it got caught up on the axle, and when I was tightening it, like one side didn't pull taut, even though it felt tight on the ratchet. And I was gonna go about 10 miles and check it before I got on the interstate, and luckily for me, one of my buddies was following me in his Jeep and flashed me, and I pulled over, and it had actually like came loose. the top strap had come loose from the bottom strap. So I got to be more diligent checking it. But that's probably why you should always run 4 straps, so at least if that one would have failed, at least this one would have kept it from going forward. And so the braking load on this strap, I think it's like, I don't know, it's pretty high. I think like 10,000 pounds or I don't know, it's somewhere around there. It's pretty high. It's enough to stop the truck from going forward. Probably like, I don't know how good it would do in an emergency situation, but I know it would stop it. So I got to be diligent to check my straps. Probably I think the best thing to do would be to like drive like 30 or 40 feet and kind of brake and go and just let the slack work out of the straps and then like tighten it again and then check. So anyways, just a couple things that I've learned from my 2 hauls on the hauler. But like I said, it runs great. I pumped up the tires so it felt good. There was no no moving around, none of that stuff. The truck stays pretty planted on it. The one thing I am going to do that I noticed last night, and since I actually unloaded at one of my 4x4 buddies' houses, but he had a big lot next to his house where I could load and unload. But sometimes I'll be in an area where I'll unload and people might be driving by, so I'm going to order some of that DOT tape, and I'll DOT tape up the put some up the sides of the ramps and like some on the top side. That way, when it's down, if people are coming at it, they can see. Also put some DOT tape. I'll just put some along the edges, maybe some back here, and maybe just some little pieces here. Just, more reflectiveness. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But as far as the hauler goes, I couldn't be happier with it. It drives great. Frickin' 65. I mean, none of the hills. I actually like passed a couple people on the way there going up some of the hills. It holds 65, and when it downshifts, the sucker's got some power. So I think on my first trip I was kind of babying it a little bit, just because so I feel like it could tow this. I don't feel like the suspension is probably up for it with that much of a load on the back. So if I do go somewhere, like I said, I'll probably get like a small tent trailer or maybe a little camper down the road. But in the meantime, I can always sleep in a tent. You know what I mean? So, anyways, make the boy rough it a little bit. What else? As far as the crawler held up. She did well. My only real problem where I was at is just the steering. So guys know with the push-pull, once this, you see that arm there, once this goes down, once you're like pushing this wheel down, then this gets short. And so what happens is if you're cutting this way, once that arm goes down, then it just pulls everything over. You know what I mean? So it pulls the wheel straight, and it's like you can't even turn. So some things this thing does great at, and some things they look like Austin Powers trying to make a frickin' 83-point turn. But as far as everything else goes, my grip was good even with these tires. I had no problems. The wheelbase seems to be really good. Other than crossover steering, making my 250 driveline, and changing the cam, I'll be okay. One thing I was doing that kind of helped me out is I was like stalling up. Like I use the brakes and it makes it smoother, but I can also like stall it up a little bit and then kind of keep it a little bit more in the power band, which seems to be okay. The only problem is, it's like once it hits though, the tire starts spinning, and if you're in a spot where you might slide down a wall or something, that's kind of not good. But it works for what it is, you know what I mean? So that is all. I'm gonna go get it unloaded. I'll kind of show you my unload procedure so you guys get an idea of that. So she may be ugly, but it's working out. So yeah, let's go unload.